Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Think Dojo. It has been a bit. How are you? Good to see you, first and foremost. I apologize for kind of going dark for the past few months. I know some people were reaching out in the comments and asking about me and, still commenting and interacting with the channel while I was gone. And for those people directly, I would like to say that I appreciate you more than you know. But yeah, the past few months have been pretty crazy. I'm not going to say that it was for any particular reason or it was for, some big event that happened that, brought me away from the channel. But to be honest with you, I got burnt out. I had a lot of stuff going on last month where I had to be really picky on where I was putting my energy and kind of deciding on, with holidays and trips and work, trying to figure out how to balance it all while adding YouTube into the mix as well. Now, I'm obviously not making this video to say I'm quitting YouTube and, the channel's going away or whatever. I'm definitely planning on kind of getting this channel back up and ramping it back up into 2026. So, hence why I'm making this video here. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why I got burnt out and what that means about the future of this channel. But also just to kind of talk about how life in general doesn't always go as planned. Now, this is something that I don't think is new to anybody. Obviously, if you've lived in 2025, I don't think anything really went to plan. But I started to think about this a little bit more, especially coming into 2026, because one of my resolutions for this year is to kind of find ways to delegate and balance out the stress that I have in life. And YouTube was something that I started as a creative outlet, a way to create a community and talk with like minded people and really just speak my mind. I still work at home every day. I don't talk to a lot of people in person or, talk to people just casually. So having this channel was always a way for me to kind of be in a therapy session without going to therapy, if that makes sense. Talking about a lot of things and talking about things that are on my mind. And for the most part, the dojo has been a place for that. Not only for me, but for other people. But for anybody that has ever attempted YouTube or is on YouTube right now growing a channel, you'll realize that it is a lot harder to do than most people think. Now, obviously, coming into this, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. I mean, I have a lot going on already, and just adding in another thing that will take time to do and, different creativeness and different energies to put into your day. I knew that it was going to be tough. And I know a lot of other people that have been doing this have probably had different experiences based on their life and where YouTube came in. But for me, I feel like I was already kind of getting burnt out before YouTube came into my life. And once I did start this channel, I feel like it was a little bit of a nail in the coffin, all fault of my own. Because of my work and personal life, I already had a lot of stress to deal with. And to be honest with you, it hasn't really gone away. I just found ways to kind of manage it at the end of 2025. But at the expense, I had to kind of strip away some things, including YouTube, and kind of put it on the back burner to make sure that I would even, make it through the year. Now, that sounds dramatic, but obviously it wasn't anything too serious. It was just more of, not getting overwhelmed to the point where I never wanted to do YouTube again. And that was my biggest fear. I didn't want to resent YouTube because it was causing me stress or, put me in a position to where it was too much work and I didn't want to continue. Because I had that fear and it seemed like the channel was doing well and it was a positive thing for me to do, I decided to kind of put it aside until I was ready to hop back in. I realized, though, that I can't always use that as an escape. I can't just discard things in my life when they become too much of a burden or giving too much energy to them. And that's when I realized that, I wanted to make sure that in 2026 that I could focus on a lot of different outlets, but kind of balance out and disperse my energy for them a little bit more effectively. That way I'm not getting burnt out so quickly. I'm sure the idea of being burnt out is different for a lot of people. And I would love to hear kind of what your guys' idea of burnt out is, because for me, I've experienced probably a few different ways of burnout. I've had hobby burnout, I've had work burnout, I've had, relationship burnout. All those things have happened at some point. And I've tried to find ways, obviously, to manage that burnout to make sure that it doesn't get to that point. And for a lot of those things, it's gotten better. But when I add new things in, like another hobby or something else, I have to kind of take time to figure out how much energy do I need to put in to reach a certain minimum or maximum, and just try to find a way to manage that in the most healthy way possible. The feeling of burnout is definitely not great. I mean, I know for me, I don't really experience a lot of the physical burnout, like energy physically, because I've always been naturally, very physically energy filled in a sense, because I exercise a lot. I've always been in sports, and it's never been something where I've just been tired physically. But it's something where mentally, I feel like I get tired a lot more easily. And I feel like mental burnout is definitely something that a lot of people experience and probably takes a harder toll on the individual. When you do become burnt out, at least for me, the whole hobby or whatever made you burnt out, you start to have that sort of resentment towards it. You don't want to perform anymore. You want to give up. You want to throw it away. And for a lot of people, they either just kind of take it and, I guess, face it head on in a way, or they try to find ways to deal with it, or they actually do throw it away. That's kind of the three different paths I've seen people take. For me, I usually try to take the route of finding ways to manage it and find ways to still keep it in my life, but not get burnt out by it. And that's always been easier said than done. And at this point, I think I've started to kind of figure out how much energy I can put into something and what I can sacrifice to make it happen. But sometimes it's just difficult. 2025 was a hard year for a lot of reasons, and I think a lot of us can relate in terms of the burnout that we feel on the daily. But I want to just kind of push people as I'm pushing myself for 2026 to, find ways to manage it, find ways to diversify the energy that you put into different things. And I think coming into the new year and this new month, that's kind of my main mantra is to really diversify the energy. And for me, I think YouTube is something where I'm going to have to be a little bit more critical of not only the time that I'm putting in, but also just what I'm doing with YouTube. I might make another video on this later on, but I started to kind of find myself when I was feeling burnt out to try and take the easy way out. I follow a lot of other YouTubers, and I like to go on YouTube and find videos that I like or relate to, and then I want to kind of like talk about those topics or try to replicate it in some way. And I know a lot of other YouTubers kind of follow that aspect, but for me, it's difficult to do. I have nothing against any other YouTuber, and I think a lot of them, if not all of them, are super talented in what they do with their channels. But for me, when I'm burnt out and don't have a lot of energy to give and try to take this easy way out, I find myself kind of comparing my channel to theirs. And I know a lot of other people can start to relate to this, but when I compare a lot of what my channel is to someone else's channel, that could be from the content, that could be to the success it is having, that can almost drain you more than just creating your own individual unique channel. So for 2026, the biggest thing that I want to push for the Free Think Dojo is to just make videos that I want to make. Stop comparing my channel to every other channel out on YouTube and just have fun with it. But at the same time, you're probably going to see me kind of sticking to the one video a week for now, unless I have a chance or multiple ideas that I'm ready to push forward. But I just want to make sure that I don't burn myself out so I can still have something to give to this community in a positive way. I want to be able to still be unique for this channel and unique for this community. But I also want to make sure that as the year goes on, I want to be able to sustain a certain quality. And to do that, sometimes that does really have to do with stepping back from it and looking at it from a different angle. So all I can say is expect some different type of videos from just, current events or, society or something like that. I want to make this fun. I want to come up with different ideas and, just make something that is more my channel. More my ideas. So definitely expect some good things coming forward. Once again, I appreciate everybody that stuck around and still supported the channel while I was gone, even commenting ideas and kind words of encouragement. If you guys have anything you would like to say or relate to anything that I'm going through with this video, definitely comment down below and let me know what you think. I'm very happy to say this again on this channel, but Once again, I appreciate every single one of you sticking around in the dojo with me again today. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more unique content coming soon, or also like the video, share it with your friends to grow the dojo, and I'll talk to you guys next week.